So in my case, mine is broken like that, and on the inside that's what it looks like. So I'm gonna take those out so I can put the new one in. Okay, so this is the replacement unit. It comes with the whole assembly of that license plate taillight. And this is what it looks like, brand new. Mine broke, as had a little mishap with the garage door catching. So the garage door pulled it here and pull it up. It snapped these two. All right, so now with this, we will get it in there like that. Once it's in, now we will use this rubber to put the rubber in there and put it in this bracket. So this bracket will stay behind and hold the wire. So here's that little bracket put in place, though the yellow marks is where the direction that the screws go in. So they go in this way. That's where the marks are. There's no marks on the other side. And I put the cable inside of that rubber and put the rubber in that channel. And that's how they go in. All right, so this is where I'm doing, right behind it. That's where those go. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Get in there. Some housekeeping maintenance here. Ever feel like your blinkers are a little too loose? So for example, this. So I think it could be improved. Look at this. It could be improved. This one seems to be a bit better. So I'm happy with this one, but not this one. And no, I've never dropped this motorcycle. So it came loose that way since I first bought it. So we're gonna see how I can take this off and see if there's a way that I can tighten this a bit. I'm sure if I take it back to Kawasaki, they're probably gonna tell me, oh, these things are just like that. I don't know what they're gonna say. But either way, this needs to be tightened. It's just way too loose. So, yeah, I'll find out how that is. So, what I ended up finding out is that after removing the blinker, I found out that this channel is so wide, and the plastic that it goes to, this plastic is not as wide as the channel that goes in. So the channel is a lot wider, especially some parts of the channel, the top part. It's quite a bit wider. so it's perpetually loose. So the blinker ends up getting so loose because of that channel. So I am going to try putting some double-sided tape on the top and bottom and see if that will fix that. We'll tighten that. And here we are. That's what it's looking like right now. So let's see if that's going to make a difference there. Okay, peel the tape off and ready to experiment. See how that goes. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, it doesn't shake anymore. It's very sturdy in place. To put this on, that's on the inside. It was quite tricky to get that metal plate over there. This plate here on the back of the blinker. So using basically a screwdriver through the back here, you just grab with a full hand and you can guide it to where it should be. So that way there's a screw hole here that will it's not that hole that you see there is not this one. So this one is for a bolt that will be right there. So I'm happy that things are a lot better. It's a lot more sturdy. Hopefully this will do. I'm wondering if I should add tape all around it so no water gets in. So I probably will, since I have this. It seems to be sealing pretty well, but even if it does get in a little bit, it's not a big deal because this is the fender. So I'm guessing it's just supposed to keep the dirt and rocks out, but not necessarily water. So this is not watertight. All right, now it's just a matter of running the blinker wire, run it up there, and in my case this is the left blinker, which goes on the left connector. Okay, the left blinker is done. Now I'm doing the same thing to the right blinker, and let's see what happens. Just a piece of advice. It's a lot easier to feed that rubber through that when the rubber is on its own. So just unscrew the blinker and do that with the rubber on its own, and that's when you're gonna put the plate back on and do that. But don't bolt the blinker before putting it on. It just I think it's a lot harder to do that. So. Okay, so just finished putting the rubber on the right blinker. I didn't really finish. I need to put that one thing over there. Let's get that done. Okay, it's time to bolt that right blinker base, and there's that plate. I found that the Ring camera, it's a perfect fit for how that works out. It go perfectly in. A great angle, and it was almost like it was made for this. So just a piece of advice, that type of screwdriver fits perfectly. A quick detail about this is that this wire doesn't go down and then comes up right there. Right there, it's not. The way they're doing, instead of going down here, there, it goes right here. So it comes down there. Then you put it inside these little guiders right there and push it down. Push it down. Okay. Now there we have it. So that's where it goes. It's a little different than the other wires that we've been dealing with. And then from the bottom, you just feed it back up. And this is the right blinker. So the right blinker goes on the right connector right there. So there's left and right. And with this little detail up, so that way and that's it. So that one is done. So now I have right and left blinkers done. So now no more rattling. This one was already good to begin with, but now it's even better. So the base is very sturdy, no more rattling. So there's no more of that stuff. So now the harness for the backlight, the wire for it, I fed it through and through, and it goes right here, which goes right there. But in the middle, there are a few things to guide the wires through. I'm gonna put through that, those ties. Then we're gonna put through these ties as well. There is a third one, which is a rubber tie that I may have misplaced it. So I will see if I can find it and put them all back together so they don't move, they don't get disconnected by writing, vibration, or anything. So the next step to put this back together is this fender here is loose. There are 4 holes over there. There are these 4 here. You will align them, and underneath it all you have this that do have the nuts inside of them, and that goes under. That goes under the fender. And up. So once you align those, this back piece with the back fender with the 4 holes on top, then you bolt these in. So let's get to that. Okay, now the 4 holes are aligned. I started those bolts in, and right here on the fender we have those 2 guys aligned, and we have those getting started. But before we go too far, we need to put these 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to put those 4 screws back in before we tighten these 4 on top, because these will make sure that they are perfectly aligned. These 2 pieces are aligned together. So screws first, bolt on top after. Okay, I have the 4 screws in. So we have right there, all 4 of them. Now I am 100% sure that those are perfectly aligned. And now I'm going to tighten these up. These 4. Let's get this. That's our next step. And as you can see, they has those 2 bolts. That's because they go right there. 1, 2. That's where they bolt. Just make sure that it goes on the outside of these guys, the bars to bolt to them. Little installation detail. This cover has those little latches, and they go right here. So which means that we need to slide it back so they can fit together, and then push forward. So that way now they're locked together. If you try to lift this, you can't, because of those 2 are locked. And when you do that, the holes will also align perfectly. So there you have it. From the back, pushing forward so they can both latch. All right, now let's bolt these on. Okay, now it's bolted on both sides, and as we know, it is latched here. If you try to lift, you can't. So we did the right thing there. Just make sure that they are fitting perfectly. Okay, now let's put the license plate back. License plate is only 2 bolts, and it goes right against the back fender through right there. Very, very easy. Nothing to it. So, and that's it. Just 2 bolts. Let's get it done. So the next step, I put the bars back on, and that's just 1 bolt here, 1 there, and 1 here, and 1 there. So 2 individual brackets, bars, I guess. Okay, so the bars are in. Now the next step is we need to put this this little locker metal thingy, and this needs to be here now, because if I put that back plate back on and align the holes, they're kind of aligned there. If I do that and I look at this, the 3rd screw is inaccessible. So I have to take this off in order to take this off. So next step, putting this back on, is to screw this in place. So after some try and error, I've noticed that this little lip, especially when I put the plate down, if everything is so tight for me to lock the box, so I have to push it. The key is stiff. This is even when I first bought the motorcycle, it was already like that. I don't like it. So what I ended up coming up with is the screws that hold this together. So basically lift this a little bit so the door doesn't have to scrape against it so bad, which as you can see right there, keeps scraping a lot. So I'm gonna make it just loosen it a little bit, and the way I did that was to add a couple washers to each screw. Yeah, and I'm gonna put those down and do that. Oh, wait a second. That rubber has to be under. Let's redo this. So after some more try and error, I've noticed that this little rubber actually presses against the very edge here and lifts this whole thing a little bit and makes it hard for that lip to go under. And then when it does go under, this metal lip hits that rubber piece. So what I came up with, and it seems to work pretty well, I actually cut it in half. So just use a hot knife and I cut this whole thing in half. Now that's what we have. Okay, the bolts are ready to be tightened. I don't know if it's the best thing or not, but I just used this little little drill that kind of hammers it in a little bit, and that's it. So that's, and that has a very high torque. Just make sure that this is tightened all the way. And there we have it. So after bolting these in, it pulled down just a little bit, which made this even better. So I can simply, without forcing the key, I can do that, which is pretty amazing, considering that before I had to force the key to do those things. And now there's no more forcing. So this is great stuff. And I would highly recommend this little upgrade for this part. So the next step, putting the bike back together, is we're gonna put this side plastic, and there are three screws. So 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 of them. There they are. I have one in my hand. But as I showed on the other maintenance episode, maintenance upgrades and flaws, I use a neoprene washer, which the link will be in the description, for everything that metal touches plastic. So I always put rubber between them to stop vibration, and so the plastic lasts longer as well. So, and I will also show what bit fits these guys, which is a let's see what this is. This is a 4 millimeter hexagon bit. I will also put on the description the bit that does the bigger ones, these bolts, the bar bolts. They are 6 millimeters. Let's see if I can. Okay, I have it right here. All right, so these are 6. Well, it's kind of hard to focus there. Oh, there you go. 6 millimeters, and they go right there. And 4 millimeters, they fit right there. So we're off for these side ones. They're all 4 millimeters. Okay, let's get putting them back together. Okay, a quick recap. I replaced the license plate light. This one got caught in the garage door as it was opening, and it broke those plastic anchors where the screws attached to it. They got ripped from it. It was cheaper to buy the whole kit because the part that I needed, it's this. But this part, this plastic here, is not sold separately. You have to buy the whole kit. So I ended up buying the whole kit, which was quite expensive. And as I was replacing that, I've also addressed blinkers that were very loose. I found a solution, came up with a solution, I guess. Put some double-sided tape on between the rubber and the plastic attachment. I did that, and on the process of putting it back together, I also made some changes here so this locks and unlocks a lot easier without struggle. The bigger bolts, I've used a 6mm hexagon bit, and for the little bolts for the side panels, I've used a 4mm hexagon bit. So all that's left now is to put the seat back on, and I hope this was enlightening to many of you. I did use the service manual to get all these parts back on and take them off. I did buy a service manual, but now I can do it without it, now that I know all that's in it. And of course, to put the seat back, we have one bolt here and one bolt there. That's it. 2 bolts, the seat's back on, and my job is done. All right, well, thank you for watching. And here we have success in our new installations and some tips and improvements. So the motorcycle both last longer, and it's more efficient in what it does. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.